I am bearish, is what I would say if I didn't have a system that I could rely on. Luckily, I do. And according to that system, I can't yet flip bearish, meaning I have to assume that an all-time high is still on the table. The cycle bottomed in November 2022. Since then, a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So far, higher low. Am I so crazy for saying that? I'm not sure if I am. I'm not sure if I am. Did I take any macro into account with this whatsoever? No. Did I take any RSIs, momentum, anything like that into consideration? I did not. And yet, this still got me here. The macro, liquidity, QE, QT, whatever it is, you never hear me talk about it. Why is that? Because has there come a moment in your investing career in crypto where the macro playing out a certain way has caused a direct effect in price action in the short term? I'm not sure if it has. I mean, I'm not sure if you're around back here, but during this day, when we got a higher low, that was kind of enough. Guess what I was thinking when we got into this zone and we didn't make a lower low? Guess what I was thinking? The world blew up at this moment. The horizontal level did not get invalidated. The rest is history. You know what happened after. 2017, remember this? Huge pullback. Is it over? You couldn't even get below this? Okay, guess what I was thinking when price action got here? This pullback? Not even close. Guess what I was thinking when price action started piercing this high? So right now, in our current cycle, I'd say we're around here, where you did not invalidate the previous low. Obviously, it goes both ways, right? We now need a higher high. So 74K was the last higher low to hold off on. We did that for now. The current bottom might be in. If it is at 80K, I expect the push up. That is a big moment, right? Because now that you've protected this, you have to make a new high. If you don't do that, macro structure is broken. You can expect the bear market. Furthermore, we're in the window for a weekly cycle low. If you recall last year during this time with the Japanese carry trade unwind, I was saying the same thing. One thing I tweeted recently is that I think bears have not been in a bear market before. What I mean by that is I think they're acting like they get a very clean shot at this. Like they get a very easy path into being bearish. That's not the case, right? Because if being bullish is not easy, right, where you get these pullbacks, it makes you question your conviction. Being bearish is even more difficult because remember, right, this is a multi-year trending asset, right? It goes up by default. Yes, there are periods where you get a bear market, but for the most part, the asset is bullish. So if you think that you'll be able to call and be on the right side of that bearish trade, fair enough, right? I respect that a lot. It's not going to be easy though. Now, bulls still have a lot of work to do. Okay, we've not even reclaimed anything significant yet. So on the lower time frame, there's actually a strong bias to be bearish, and that we will pierce my 74K level, where you can almost guarantee then a lower high. But in my opinion, you tell me if I'm wrong, I don't think we have to go from here until all-time highs to flip bullish, right? If the all-time high is at 126,000, it's not like we have until 125,000 where you can then start to question things. I think that happens a lot sooner, right? Are bears going to continue to have that type of conviction if we hold above 100K? I'm not sure. I'm not so sure, because then you'll be stuck in this limbo where Bitcoin's back above 100K, entries are gone, you're bearish. I would hate to be in that situation, which is why, again, I have a system where you don't preemptively turn bearish or bullish. And I say that because if you're a bull and celebrating this small pump, I mean, you got to get a hold on yourself, right? I mean, don't be the person that says things are going up as they're going up. I can see that. And as things are going down, you get more and more bearish. Literally, what's the point of that? What is the point of seeing Bitcoin fall from 100K to 80K to then say things are looking bad? Like, everyone can see that, but do you have levels? Do you have invalidation levels that'll make you flip from bearish to bullish or bullish to bearish? For me right now, I'm bullish. Here's the other part. This level, 74K, has kind of been pushed up to 80K now, because if we go up to around 100K and reject from there, come back down below 80, that'd be pretty ugly. Can things go into next year? I'll give my opinion on what I think, my bias, right, outside of these levels. I see a couple scenarios. I'll tell you the one I think is going to happen. Option one is the lower high. You then go into a bear market. It makes a lot of sense, right? We topped in Q4. Things are the same, quote unquote. We'll get to that in a second. Option two is we make a new all-time high. Okay, fair, straightforward. What I'm looking for is the following. This is the confirmed low, and we make a new all-time high. I think that's quite viable. If we don't, I think my super cycle idea comes into play. Now, a couple months ago, I made a video saying there's no 4-year cycles in crypto, and that instead we've been in a macro cycle, a 10-year cycle, where this is the count on that cycle, and we're now in the 5th wave. right? And we're ending off a decade-long parabola, where after that parabola is complete, we go into some pretty severe lows. Now, the fifth wave of that parabola is supposed to be the craziest, and I think the invalidation of the 4-year cycle idea is quite realistic in that this cycle, the fifth wave, has been the most opposite to what you expect the 4-year cycle to be like, where we made a new all-time high before the halving, whereas so far we've topped in Q4. But if we make a top outside of Q4 this year, then that is a real big difference. Another one being, I would have thought, right, coming into this year, you could call 2025 a negative yielding year in crypto. What's supposed to be the most bullish ends up not even being kind of bullish. It's in the red. Those saying that things are the same, I would love to see their take on this. Why is 2025 red? Could things be different? It would make sense in that fifth wave idea, where you get the most volatility, the most objectively, you can chat GPT this. In that fifth wave, you get the most fake outs, right? And so if 2025, the most bullish year, is red, then 2026, which is supposed to be the most red year, I mean, what's the expectation coming into that? Is it going to be the same? Do we expect the types of years we got in 2018 and 2022? I'm not sure. Probably, but I mean, maybe not, right? I totally see a scenario where both bulls and bears are wrong. In fact, I've kind of gotten to a point where I think that is the case. That might be my base case, that both bulls and bears are wrong. So far, it's the bulls that have been wrong, which is Q4, you expect euphoria, the complete opposite happened. Like the literal opposite happened. And right now, bears are winning. Would it make sense to you, if you are a bear even, right? Ask yourself objectively, would it make sense to you then that the next year we get this slow bleed down, right? Base out and then go at it again? Maybe. I think if we've topped, I think bears are going to get too comfortable. I think they're going to be wrong too. I see something like this, then I see chop. I see chop for a very long time, where for 2026 we keep chopping somewhere between maybe 60K and 90K. I mean, would bears be right in that scenario? Maybe, right? Would a 48% drawdown count as a bear market? Kind of, but I think here's the thing, right? And if you're a bear, don't make this mistake. Don't continue to stay bearish at lows. You may think obviously not, but no, I'm telling you, when you've been right for that long, you expect it to keep going lower. Bitcoin at 20K is not enough. 18K is not enough. 16K is not enough. You want 14, you want 12. If that would have happened, 10, 8, all those calls would have kept happening, right? But we bottomed at 15.5. All those bears get left behind. Don't let yourself be that right now. But if we go down to like 60K, is that enough for a bear market? I don't think so. I think a lot of bears are going to keep expecting lower. And I think they're going to be on the wrong side as well, where this fifth wave sort of parabola is just in the midst of consolidation. Wrecking bulls, wrecking bears. We don't really get a bull market. For now, we don't really go into a deep bear market, and instead it's just a correction to end off a crazy fifth wave where we end up at very high numbers. I think that could be my base case. Not yet though, because we're still not below 74K. We're very close. I'll make a video when it's time to say, things are done. But I honestly might be in this camp, right? Lower high, and then put on the top at 200K. Then we wrap it up like that. Then we get a crazy altcoin season, because if you think alts are not going to move, you're out of your mind. Every narrative in crypto takes place. Coming into this, alts were on top. Everyone loved them. Coming out of it, everyone hates alts. They're convinced they're not going to come back. I couldn't disagree more, because after this fifth wave is put in, you get what should be the greatest performance of alts ever, trumping whatever happened in 2021 and 2017. Others, Bitcoin will make a new all-time high, and by a lot. That's just how markets go. So that is my opinion. If you think I'm wrong, that's fine. Obviously, who am I? I will say, I have a channel with 19,000 subs, Twitter with 5,000 followers. That's not a lot. Like I'm a very small KOL, right? All things considered. Quite small, quite insignificant. But for some reason, people watch, and I think it's because I just kind of say it how it is, right? I have a paid Discord with 300 people. That's quite a lot of people for how small of a KOL I am. I think that's like 19,000 subs, that'd be like 1 in 60 people joining. In terms of the QE, I don't know, man. The macro, how do you invalidate that, right? What's the line of invalidation? In terms of the charts, right, you have clear objective lines. Horizontal levels, so I prefer charting over anything, over the fundamentals. And then horizontal levels on the charts are number 1, right? And then you get the key lows. But how do you invalidate macro? I don't know. I don't want to be the Raoul Paul type of guy saying because of QE things go into next year. I don't want to say they're done. But I will leave it there for now. Thank you for watching. It really does mean a lot. And I'll make another video soon when it's due. But until then, take care. Follow the Twitter, link in description for live updates, and I will see you soon.